It was a cold February day in 1957 when a young man, checking on his muskrat traps in a wooded area of Philadelphia, stumbled upon a cardboard box. Inside, wrapped in a blanket, was the body of a little boy. He was small, malnourished, and bore the marks of a short, brutal life. No one knew who he was. No one came to claim him. For 65 years, he would be known only as the boy in the box. This is the story of America's most haunting cold case, a mystery that spanned generations, and the recent breakthrough that finally gave a name to the unknown child. On February 25, 1957, in the Fox Chase neighborhood of Philadelphia, the discovery sent shockwaves through the city. The boy, estimated to be between 3 and 7 years old, was found naked inside a J.C. Penney bassinet box. Investigators were immediately struck by his condition. He was severely underweight, and his body showed numerous scars, some old and some new. His hair had been recently and crudely cut, with clumps of it still clinging to his body. It was clear this child had suffered immensely. They took his fingerprints and footprints, but in a world before national databases, there were no matches. He was a ghost. The Philadelphia Police Department launched one of the most extensive public campaigns in its history. They knew that someone, somewhere, had to know this child. They took post-mortem photographs, even dressing the boy in children's clothing and posing him in a chair, hoping the images would trigger a flicker of recognition. The photos were heartbreaking. Flyers with his image and a sketch were distributed by the thousands across the country, placed in every police station and post office. The story captured the nation's attention, and he was dubbed the boy in the box. Tips poured in, thousands of them. Every lead was chased, every potential connection explored, but each one led to a dead end. The boy remained nameless. The investigation was a massive undertaking. Detectives scoured records from local orphanages, foster homes, and hospitals. They cross-referenced missing children reports from all over the country. Nothing. The box itself offered a clue. It was for a bassinet sold exclusively at J.C. Penney, but only 12 had been sold in the area, and all the buyers were accounted for. The blanket he was wrapped in was also traced, but it was a common type, leading nowhere. One of the few promising leads came from a witness who reported seeing a woman and a small boy pull over near the wooded area a day or two before the discovery. The woman appeared to be holding the boy, who was either asleep or unconscious. Another witness saw a car fleeing the scene, but these sightings were never confirmed, and the trail went cold. As the years turned into decades, the case file grew thicker, but the central question remained unanswered. Who was he? The mystery became a fixture of American true crime lore, and theories swirled. Was he the child of a family who kept him hidden from the world, perhaps due to an illegitimate birth? Was he part of an illegal adoption that went horribly wrong? Or was he the victim of a foster home where abuse was rampant? One of the most compelling and controversial theories emerged in the 1990s. A woman, identified only as M, came forward with a shocking story. She claimed her abusive mother had bought the boy from his birth parents in the mid-1950s. She alleged the boy, whom she called Jonathan, was subjected to horrific physical and emotional abuse in her home, and that his death was an accident. According to her, her mother had cut his hair and then dumped his body in the Fox Chase area. While parts of her story seemed plausible, investigators could never fully corroborate her claims. She had a history of mental health challenges, and her account had inconsistencies. It was another promising lead that ultimately dissolved into uncertainty. Despite being unknown, the boy was never forgotten. The investigators who worked his case originally were haunted by it for the rest of their lives. After the initial investigation, he was buried in a potter's field, a pauper's grave. But in 1998, the original investigators, now retired, arranged to have his body exhumed. They wanted to extract DNA before modern science passed the case by. After the DNA was collected, he was reburied in Ivy Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia. This time, he was given a proper resting place, with a headstone that read, "America's Unknown Child." For years, strangers would visit his grave, leaving flowers, toys, and messages, treating a child they never knew like one of their own. His small grave became a symbol of a city's enduring grief and a promise that he would not be forgotten. The DNA collected in 1998 was the key. For years, the sample sat in storage, waiting for technology to catch up. By the 2010s, forensic science had made incredible leaps. DNA analysis and, crucially, forensic genetic genealogy offered a new path forward. This was the same technique used to catch the Golden State Killer. Investigators could now use the boy's DNA to build a family tree, searching for distant relatives through public genealogy databases. It was a painstaking process, requiring years of work by dedicated genealogists and detectives. They uploaded his genetic profile and began searching for matches, however distant. They started with third and fourth cousins, slowly and meticulously building out family branches, eliminating possibilities and zeroing in on a single family line based in the Philadelphia area. Then, in December 2022, after 65 years of silence, the impossible happened. Police held a press conference that stunned the world. They had found him. The boy in the box had a name, Joseph Augustus Zarelli. He was born on January 13, 1953. Through the incredible work of genealogists, they had identified his birth mother and father. Both parents were from prominent local families, and both were deceased. It was a monumental breakthrough. For the first time, he was no longer a symbol, but a person. A boy with a family, a birthday, a name. The headstone at Ivy Hill was finally updated, replacing America's Unknown Child with his real name. But identifying Joseph only solved one piece of the puzzle. It opened a floodgate of new questions. Why was he never reported missing? He had living relatives, siblings, yet his existence seemed to have been completely erased. Who was responsible for the horrific abuse and his death? And why did they go to such lengths to hide his identity? Authorities have not released the names of his parents, likely to protect living relatives, but they confirmed the investigation is far from over. No arrests have been made, and the case remains an active homicide investigation. The people who could provide direct answers, his parents, are long gone. Investigators are now likely trying to piece together the last years of Joseph's life through any remaining relatives or historical records they can find. So today, the case of Joseph Augustus Zarelli stands in a strange new light. We know who he was, but we still don't know what happened to him. For 65 years, a city wondered about a nameless boy left in a box. It was a story about the failure to protect a child and a community's refusal to forget him. Now, it's a story about a little boy named Joseph and the ongoing search for justice. The biggest question of all remains unanswered. Who was responsible for his death, and will they ever be held accountable? The work continues, fueled by the hope that one day, the full story of what happened to Joseph Augustus Zarelli will finally be told. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as compelling as we did, please like this video and subscribe for more true horror stories.